Hello and welcome. You're listening to Start Again with Shaunna Lee, the place where you will be reminded that it's never too late and you're never too old to do the damn thing. So stick around if you're ready to vibe higher and be inspired to chase your dreams. Together, we will uncover your soul's truest desires. Now, if you're ready, let's get started. What our bodies are really great at doing, though, is telling us what that is and bringing it to our attention. And all you have to do is start to pay attention. Years ago, I discovered this book. It's called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, and it's by Carol K. Truman. And I will tell you this, with any tool, with any healing modality, with any piece of information, regardless of the source, what I am going to challenge you to do is to listen, pay attention, and see where it resonates for you. The first time I started doing this was actually in church. I was attending one of these big box churches. What do we call these? I don't know. It was a huge church, very well known here in the Austin area. And there were certain phrases that the pastor was saying on the regular that just didn't sit well with me. And it doesn't matter what they are, but they were happening more and more often. And each time I was like, I have a love-hate relationship with church. I'm just going to go out here and go on a tangent and share this with you. I'm not sure why, but surely this is going to resonate for someone. This love-hate relationship for me with church is that regardless of which church I go to, and it literally doesn't matter which sect of religion that it is, because I've gone to so many, I deeply love that moment when you can feel God's presence and you can physically feel in your body the presence of something bigger than you. Call it God, universe, whatever you want. I love that moment of feeling connected. And I think church does a really good job in many cases of fostering an environment to allow you to do that. However, what I've learned through the years is that I can do that every single day, and I don't have to go to a church and have someone walk me through 8 different ways to do that, right? So I can pray to God. I can feel that connection on the regular, which is why I talked to you about meditation the other day, because I think that's one way to do that. However, I also very much dislike how the church treats different types of people in our society. And for me, the God I serve, the universe I feel connected to, is one that is benevolent and loving and accepting and tolerant of every person on the planet, regardless of where they are, the choices they make, the lifestyle they lead, literally doesn't matter. And of course, it matters to that person, but I mean, it doesn't matter to the God I know. And so when I hear a certain church pastor, church leader kind of dictate an intolerance of any kind, it makes me take pause. And I've had a harder and harder time going to a church where they are creating this environment where we can feel connected to God, but at the same time, they're teaching some element of intolerance. And that to me is a dichotomy that I can't find a balance between. So that's the love-hate relationship with church. However, I'm not really sure why I went on that tangent, but I think our bodies talk to us and guide us, and it's part of God talking through us as well. So, in all the ways that we are being intolerant toward ourselves, or we are thinking unkind thoughts, or we are believing untrue things, it's generating these negative emotions. And when we don't pay attention to that, our bodies are a great way of saying, hey, knock, knock, knock. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? You keep thinking this thing, you're obsessively believing this idea, and it's not serving you well. It's physically making your body ill, and it's painful, right? So the more we believe untrue things, the more it is a painful experience. So this book is or was my first way to kind of explain and put words to this idea. And what I will just say, start paying attention to the people in your life and the ailments they have and the aches and pains and the things that they complain about. And what I was going to say, I was going to further explain this book. What Carol does in this book is give you kind of a dictionary or a glossary of different aches and pains or diseases even, and tells you what the potential emotions, the underlying emotions are that are causing that particular pain. And the first time I tell certain people about this book, they're like, "Well, who the hell is she and how does she know?" And I will just say, she's the one who wrote it down in a book. That is all. She is not, to my knowledge, I don't believe she's a doctor. She just paid attention and wrote it down. That's the only difference between someone who has ideas and someone who writes a book and publishes it. However, what she's written in here largely feels true to me and resonates very deeply. And so I start paying attention to that more and more. And I feel like the more we pay attention to our bodies, the more we're able to heal those underlying emotions that are causing those ailments, right? Anyways, this is the whole concept of her book, and I'm going to give you a couple examples. I had a friend of mine who regularly has knee problems and also suffers from migraines. So, in this particular book, I looked up knee problems and I looked up migraines. So, when you look up knee problems, it says potential, these are a bunch of very different things, but these are the potential underlying issues. You're unable to be flexible. You're not wanting to bend, usually to some sense of authority. Your ego gets in the way. Your pride is getting in the way. You're stubborn and you're wanting your own way. And then it breaks it down even further to differentiate between the left and the right knee. So if it's your left knee, it's telling you that you need to be more receptive to events. It's identifying feelings of insecurity, and it's telling you that you're experiencing unresolved stress. But if it's the right knee, it's telling you you need to be more assertive and you're not wanting to give in to authority. That's one set of ailments that this particular friend had. Then there's the migraine headaches that happen on the regular. Those mean that you're unable to flow easily with life, that you're wanting things at your own pace. Dislikes being pushed, inability to handle pressure or stress for long periods, pushing to control or wanting to control. So, if you look at those two things and those two very specific elements of having headaches and knee problems, you can see a theme between those two things. And so that's where I say our body is talking to us all the time. And when you don't pay attention to, let's say, migraines and you start accepting those as being your way of life, you'll hear people say, "Oh, I just get migraines." Well, I don't fucking want to claim that. I don't get headaches. I say that often. And if I have a slight headache, something is wrong and I'm paying attention. But other people have started to just kind of accept that this is something that happens to them, so they're not paying attention. So then what happens? You're walking down the street, you twist your knee, and you have a knee problem that then is lingering for months. Whereas what I would argue is if you pay attention to what the underlying emotion is there, which generally is your inability to accept things and be flexible, if you embraced new ways to be more flexible, that if you allowed yourself to go with the flow a little more, I would argue that those ailments would go away. And that is the whole point of today's episode, is to just say, what is your body trying to tell you? Pay attention, start to observe. And for me, when I'm trying to apply a new concept or really understand if something's resonating with me or not, it's a whole lot easier for me to start paying attention to other people than myself. It's always harder to see it in ourselves than it is to see it in other people. I would encourage you to read this book. I think it's fascinating. But to tie it back to my church tangent from earlier, I would say that any tool, any religion, any book, any guru, whatever the source of the information is, it's still a human being who's interpreting energy. And people get it wrong all the time. People describe it in a way that resonates with them that doesn't resonate with me. And that's okay. The point is just to pay attention and start listening to the things that do resonate and follow that. Today is a very short and sweet episode, but I wanted you to start paying attention to your body and what is it trying to tell you. Pop over to Instagram and DM me and let me know. Have a lovely day, a very great week, and I will talk to you all soon. Are you ready to start meditating but don't know where to start? Join me for the next 7 days and I'll walk you through all you need to get started. My free email challenge will have you meditating in just 1 week. You'll be so glad you did. Sign up today at SimplyShaunna.com/meditation.